Well, it's Friday, finally. We have some saddening news. A 20-year-old opened fire on a Florida State University using his mother's handgun and a shotgun. 2 are dead and 6 are injured. And this has both political parties running to the case to try to, bring out what their wise wisdom is, right? And we know the kid wrote a New York Times letter saying he likes Biden, but he believes his party needs a new nominee or new frontrunner. And then he also commented on the FSU newspaper saying that, the anti-Trump protesters he's already been elected, so it's too little too late. And what we need is a revolution or a revolt, but nobody wants that. So he said some worrying things, but nothing out of the ordinary from what Democrats usually say, so it'd be hard to pick him up out of a crowd at this point. Republicans will say he had a serious Trump derangement syndrome, and that's what led him to do this. Democrats will say, we're all stupid for allowing anyone to own a firearm of any kind. That's the problem. But surprise, again, they're both wrong. The real problem is that we are sold out to the pharmaceutical industry. People with lots of money sell us SSRIs, and this is causing these kids to do this. People will drop their own critical thinking because someone holds the title doctor. My doctor says this. We have made doctors the new gods. You need church and Jesus. People in America appeal to authority way too easily. We are far too naive, and this is just ripe for industries like the pharmaceutical industry to come in and make these doctors do something, convince them that they're doing the right thing, and boom, you get bad instances like this where they're not caring about you, they care about their money, they care about their pocketbook. The rule breakers stand on a hill of bones of the people who follow the rules. It's a Machiavelli quote for you. People today care only about themselves because they lack God. It's simple. They care more about what people think of them than what is actually true, lying to themselves over and over until they have lied so much that they are completely separated from reality and their own critical thinking. Then, even more sickening, they try and convince you to do the exact same thing. What I say is what you should do is reject fitting in to the masses. The masses are not with God. And, if you fit in with the masses, you probably not with God. The reality is, it's in our nature, at least for young men, to be inclined to violence. We know it. I mean, we are hunting machines, but today we are made to sit still. And if you can't, well, that's okay. We've got a pill for that. I have a recommendation that your parents might not give you, and they'd probably argue with this recommendation, but my recommendation is actually to fight. Physically, go fight. We had Mark Wayne Mullen speak at our latest fundraiser, and he mentioned how he fights, and Kevin McCarthy mentioned that they get in and they spar even, and they do these things. I mean, these guys are the top leaders of our country, so if they're doing it, it must not be that bad. I think that it's very important. You go to the gym and you spar. It's simple, but it's not easy. Your mom will tell you that boxing causes brain damage, but I mean, look at me, I spar. I'm a genius, so that's got to be a lie, right? But if you look in our like as far as speaking about our nature, I mean, look at our face. Our face has bones that are thicker around the eyes, around the nose, the brow. In the front of our head, our forehead, the thickest part of your skull is right here. Your arms, your hands are like this. You could ball your fist, your hand up into a fist that's like a rock. We can throw a ball at 90 miles an hour. Whereas, the closest relative we have, if you believe that, is a chimpanzee who can't throw a ball barely. Our hips. As men, we have broader shoulders in order to huck things at things. We were meant to hunt. We were meant to kill. It's just fact. It's the way it is. But, God gave us all these skills, and then now now in the last, I don't know, blink of an eye when it comes to the relative time we've been on Earth as a species, it's like they're telling us to shut all that down. You don't need all that. That makes you an animal. You're not an animal. You are an animal. And if you face your fear and you fist fight someone, your brain will turn on. I think there's science coming now about gene expression, and actually when you do things in life, certain genes express that would normally not have done. When you spar, I feel it. I at least spar once a week, once a month at least, bare minimum, when I'm out of training. And it's like, when you do it, it's like going to church when you haven't been to church in a while. I mean, you just the world opens up to you. The colors are brighter. I mean, it's amazing. And the reason is when you can hit the bag and you go on runs, you can do all these things that are sports, but fighting to me is not a sport. Something different. Someone's punching you back. And when a fist is flying past your face and your eyes are having to anticipate the punch and you're having to not think, your animalistic brain has to come out and act and do things. And that causes you to, that causes you to undergo certain things. Testosterone boosts, your healthy self comes out. And, some people, contrary to the belief that maybe you get more violent, you actually get less violent. You become calm. You suddenly realize that people start respecting you. Your girlfriend starts respecting you. Her mom starts respecting you. And you're able to calm down. You know the consequences of getting in a physical altercation with someone. So you're a lot more humble. You don't want to fight. You no longer start thinking that starting a business is hard or that going to college to get an engineering degree is hard. You start thinking that these are doable things. I mean, look, you just went in there and fought someone fist fought someone. So anything's easy. You can go to your boss and ask him for a pay raise. No problem. That's not scary. Now, I believe this so much in my heart that I spend my money and time supporting gyms in our city. Now, I help out in politics. I walk door to door. I help out with the campaigns. I devote my money there too. But I devote my time and money to the gyms that are in this town. The Police Activities League for boxing, and then I also support the Bakersfield College Wrestling. And both of these gyms are excellent places where you see you see boys really become men with excellent leaders. And, it's just my belief. We need to spend our time doing less talking. And I know it's crazy from me because I have a podcast talking about politics, but everybody, you go everywhere you go and there's these people. I think actually one of the boxers is fighting actually right now. So I'm trying to watch that and do this. But, we spend our time talking about politics and all these problems and how we're going to fix them. Well, what we need to do is this. But instead of just doing the talk, I think we should start doing the walk. And the way you do that is, supporting gyms like these gyms. It's just my opinion, but instead of getting other rich kids, other rich guys' sons elected to office so you can get some business deal, why don't we start doing something that strengthens the kids, right? Doesn't that make sense to do something? Spend your money instead of on a political campaign on something that's going to strengthen the kids. These kids work so hard. Every time I go to the gym, I get so inspired. Suddenly, I feel stupid for complaining about anything. I mean, I lie to myself and say, well, I had a hard day. I'm working hard. But, most people, they don't know the essence of hard work. These kids know hard work. I really believe that this is the number one thing our young boys today are missing. So in light of the FSU shooting, instead of talking and doing nothing, I'm going to sponsor both gyms for this month, and I'm asking you to join me. Even $25 or whatever you can give will greatly be appreciated. I can assure you that the money you spend on these gyms will go infinitely further in fixing issues in our community than funding any political campaign. I mean, that's just outright. That's a big statement. That says a lot. Um, right now they're actually the boxing gym, Police Activities League, they're actually going to Vegas, and that's what we're raising money for, and that's why I'm asking you guys to help out with. And it's a big tournament. These kids walk door to door for Republican candidates, so they're helping out Republican candidates all the time. They're Republican. Their coach is a great guy, and he teaches these kids, a lot of good things. One of the kids who I mistakenly attempt to spar every once in a while is Xavier Chalada. Now, this kid is going to be the next big leader in Bakersfield. I mean, he's 16 years old. He's been putting in the work since he was 5. He won his last fight, and his opponent was a top amateur, and I mean, the guy was a total gorilla. I mean, like, his arms were big, Yet, Xavier just walked him down too. I was really worried, and he just walked him down. But, it's a true testament to his hard work and his mindset of war, which he has carved from fighting every night for years. He's a real leader for a lot of these kids I see. A lot of the younger kids that are in the gym, they see him and they try to model him. So, like I said, if we could support him, we could support this gym. We're doing so much for our community. And I have no doubt he will be the next big leader in Bakersfield, no doubt. So do your part. Don't just talk about it. You should also fight and spar. But also, if you can, donate to the gyms to spark a new generation of kids who are tough and humble and that are not naive. We're so naive. America depends on it. America depends on it. On us raising the next generation of kids to not be naive and to be tough. So the Lord beckons you. Support Xavier and the Police Boxing Club, and message me and I'll send you a link so you can contribute to them if you're interested. And then I'm going to post some of their work on Instagram and get more involved in that way with their social medias of both gyms. That way you guys can kind of follow along with some of these younger groups of kids who are they're going to college and they're working at BC, and they're going to college, they're working, and they're wrestling. I mean, these kids, it's community college, so they don't have all the things that some of the more parents who have money, they don't get those benefits. So they're at BC trying to save some money, and talented guys, super hardworking. And the coach, I mean, he is such a good leader. And we don't even agree on politics, all the way, but he is such a hardworking guy. That's one thing we do agree on is hard work and, dedication. And that's what our boys need. That's why the FSU shooter, that's why these shooters are happening, because of this exact reason. We have to instill hard work. And the best way to do that is supporting gyms. And like I said, it's going to go a lot further than any political campaign you'll ever fund. So it's Fun Friday. This is the Paint the Town Red podcast. Grab your pocketbook or your checkbook and support these boys. All right. Have a good one.